Wow, that's a big saguaro. Man, I love the new Minecraft music. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think this shit is so cool. Wow, I didn't do this to this great wood tree. It spawned right next to this fire, and boy, that got messy. Hey everybody, Kyrie091 hanging out with you. Boy oh boy, are we going to have big fun today taking a look at some of the conduits, the conduit system added by EnderIO. Before we get started with the actual conduit system itself, let's take a look at the problem that we can solve with the conduit system. So, should be nothing new here what you're seeing. This is a setup that looks like something we might have to do given this is using Buildcraft pipes, but it would be similar if you used thermal expansion or whatever you were using. You can see we have a harvester here, FFR harvester with a big old ready to harvest wheat field in front of it. It has a redstone signal being sent to it from this lever, which is why it's not running right now, because I'm giving it a redstone signal which shuts it off. It's getting power from this creative energy cell with some Buildcraft pipes sending power over to it. It's going to send the harvested items out through this Buildcraft pipe into this chest, and of course the sludge that the harvester produces over here is going to go through the fluid Buildcraft pipes into this tank. So this is a setup that you might see, and if we give the switch, if we give this a flick, it should start running any second now. Come on, don't make a fool out of me, system. System, please. Come on. What are you doing? There it goes. Let's turn it back off. So, as you can see, the system worked just as we thought. The sludge got pulled into this tank, and we have some wheat and some seeds in here, just like we expected. Nothing too fancy there, but the problem is that, as you can see, this harvester has 6 block faces, and we have one of the 6 block faces is the front of the harvester, like the teeth of the machine. And then so that leaves 5 block faces remaining. Of those 5, we have pipes or wires attached to 4 of them, so that leaves only 1 free block face. Obviously that really limits how you can do this and how you can build your setups. EnderIO has a solution for that, and we'll talk about it right now, after we talk about what the pipes are. I still think this is cool looking, by the way. So to get started with EnderIO Conduits, you're going to need a lot of this stuff. Binder composite. It's made like so, clay, sand, and gravel. You cook it up in the furnace, however the heck you feel like cooking it up, and you get some conduit binder. And then the conduit binder is used with all kinds of different things. Like, let's get some glass, and we should be able to just go boom, and then throw some binder around it, and... oh, hang on. There we go. So recipes are something like that, like this here with the conduit binder and then the stuff in the middle. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward how you make this stuff. Let's take a look at what different options there are. So, for energy conduits, we can do conductive iron in the middle with some binder to make basic energy conduits. Enhanced conduits have this energetic alloy that you need the alloy smelter to make, gold, redstone, and glowstone. And ender stuff requires vibrant alloy. Vibrant alloy is kind of tricky to make. It requires an energetic alloy and an ender pearl. You can do it in an alloy smelter or in the induction smelter with thermal expansion. And then there is a way to transmit, and that's just how you transmit energy. To transmit a redstone signal, you can use the redstone conduit, which is just redstone alloy, iron or redstone silicon, or you can make an insulated redstone conduit, which is what I've always used. I don't even know what the other one does, to be honest. And that's for redstone signals. Then there is also fluid conduits, which move fluids around just like what you would expect. Obviously, the difference between the energy conduits is how much energy they move. Fluid conduits are a little bit different. The basic one, you can see it says fluid flow respects gravity. That means that you can't move something from your basement up to the top floor of your house using a fluid conduit. It won't make it up there because it respects gravity. For that, you would need at least a pressurized fluid conduit, which requires these fused quartz. The regular fluid conduit requires just regular old glass, or quite clear glass, which is the EnderIO version of regular old glass. And then there's, of course, the Ender Fluid Conduit, which requires some of that vibrant alloy from before. Item conduits, there's only one style available, and it requires pulsating iron nuggets. Pulsating iron is made by mixing iron and an ender pearl in an induction smelter or an alloy smelter. And finally, for those of you who use applied energistics, yes, this mod does add ME conduits as well. So you can use this to move your ME stuff around in addition to everything else. So let's take a look at what we can do with some of these. You will need to make a wrench to work with these conduits, called the Yetta Wrench, and it's made with electrical steel and a gear. The electrical steel, of course, made in the alloy smelter, coal dust, silicon, and iron ingot. Silicon is a byproduct of when you pulverize sand. You can do it in a sag mill, or you can do it in the thermal expansion pulverizer, your choice. So at its most basic, these are item conduits right here. They're pretty straightforward the way that they work. Shouldn't be any surprise to you. You can see the arrow. See that little green arrow right there pointing that way? That means items will be coming out of this inventory and flowing this way. If I look in this chest, I can see I got a bunch of junk in here, and over here I got nothing. If I hit this with the Yetta Wrench and turn the arrow around, now the arrow is pointing that way, and we should see... Oh, wait. Let's click on this real quick. So we can see what mode it's in. This is in extract mode. You can also change the direction without the wrench just by switching it from extract to insert. And we can activate it, say, with a redstone signal, like so, and this stuff should now be traveling over there, and it is. Let's turn this redstone signal off, and we can switch this if we want to active without signal, never active, or always active, regardless of the redstone signal. And now it should be filling up whether or not we have a redstone signal. It should be doing its thing. Let's turn it back off real quick. One of the other cool settings you can adjust is the channel. This is on channel green, this chest over here, so let's put some cobblestone in here on channel green. Actually, let's change it to channel blue. And we'll set it to always active. So, you can see the arrow has now turned blue. That's cool enough on its own. So why isn't this chest dumping into this chest? It is set to pull out. It's set to always active. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is that this chest over here is channel green, and this chest over here is channel blue. So you can have multiple networks going on in the same place. So if I switch this one to blue, we should now see... Oh, let's change it to insert mode. Oh, it's on insert channel green. Insert channel blue. So now it should start piling that cobblestone up in there. So you can see that we have a green network running from this chest to this chest, and a blue network running from that chest to that chest, all in the same thing. And there's all the colors of the Minecraft rainbow in here to choose from. So you can obviously have a whole lot of different complicated things going on with your item transfer conduits. They can be traveling all over the place. There are a few upgrades you can throw in. For example, I can put an item filter in here, and that will let me put filter cobblestone to fly in here. You can choose to whitelist or blacklist. So what I can say is I'm going to blacklist cobblestone for this chest. Let's switch this back over to channel green, insert. So, let's see. Cobblestone has been blacklisted for this chest, so that means that no cobblestone should ever be able to make it into this chest because it's been blacklisted. So let's go ahead and turn this bad boy on, and we should see what happens here. Cobblestone should be making its way over here. Let's get rid of some of this cobble so it'll happen a little bit faster. So as soon as that cobble is gone, all the cobble wound up over here, and all the other stuff should be winding up over here. So that's a pretty cool little system. If you right-click on this part, to adjust the settings, you have to right-click on the base of the pipe, where it connects to the inventory or the machine or whatever. If you right-click on this middle part, it'll give you some information about where the extracted items will wind up. So it'll tell you the distance, it'll tell you the order that they'll be placed in, the priority. So obviously, the one that's 4 blocks away, this chest, is going to be the first place it tries to put anything. The one that's 7 blocks away, this chest, is going to be the second priority. So it works based on distance. It'll tell you the name of the chest, or give you an idea. Get out of here, horse. Give you an idea for what inventory it's going to go into. By simply right-clicking with an open hand on the pipe there. So, item conduits. Pretty straightforward, pretty darn cool. There are different types of filters available. Obviously, in this case, I use the basic item filter. There's also an advanced item filter. existing item filter that checks for items inside of chests and only puts more of the same. So if I were to use an existing item filter here, it would you can even snapshot so that it will only put, hang on, let's open this back up. So I just snapshotted this here, and this will check what's inside the chest, and that is all that is allowed inside that chest now that I've snapshotted it. I can click show to show what items are allowed in that chest based on that snapshot. Pretty cool. There is also the mod item filter, which lets you specify what mods are allowed into a chest. So if I were to throw the mod item filter in there, you can see that I could add in the name of a mod. Let's see, where's something that's mod? Like Mine Factory Reloaded. So then only items from MFR would be allowed in there if I only wanted EnderIO items, or if I wanted vanilla items, so I could tell it what mods I want the items, what mods are allowed in this chest. For maybe you have a chest that's only for Thaumcraft, or a chest that's only for forestry, or something like that. So that's the mod item filter. Advanced item filter, I don't know what this does. Let's find out together, you guys. Oh, it's like the other item filter, only bigger, and lets you whitelist metadata. I don't know what sticky mode does. Fuzzy mode, God, I kind of know what fuzzy mode is, but I'm not enough to tell you about it. Chargeable item filter. Filters based on how much RF they have stored. Oh, that's cool. Well, there's all kinds of fun stuff you can get into with these item conduits, so you can kind of see what those are all about there. Let's move on to something else. So I have some pressurized fluid conduits right here. Note that I am not using the regular fluid conduits. These are the pressurized ones. I got a tank full of creosote and an empty tank over here. So let's go ahead and take a look. This is set to auto extract, active with signal. It's set to in and out mode. We're going to switch it to extract mode. So now fluids can come out of here. Apparently it's on channel red. Let's switch it to channel brown. Why not? There. And you will also set to channel brown. So again, I could have multiple fluids in the same network here. Like let's say I had another one over here that was only that was all for water or something like that. I could send it through on a different channel. The only thing is that with pressurized fluid conduits, the liquids will get in each other's way if you let them. Let's drop a lever next to this bad boy and see what happens. Okay, you should be working. Why aren't you working? Active with signal. I just switched it to always active, and now it's working. You can see the liquid getting pulled out, traveling through the pipe. You can see the pipe has changed color because you can see the liquid inside of it. Pretty darn cool. Nothing to it there. Exactly what you would expect. Let's get our Yetta Wrench and pick these up. The Ender fluid conduits work in a very similar fashion, but the biggest difference is that the Ender fluid conduits do not move the stuff through. The stuff is teleported to its wherever it's supposed to go, and it happens automatically. So let's turn that on, and we can see the stuff teleporting automatically. The cool thing about using this is that the stuff doesn't actually have to travel through the pipe, so number one, it happens instantly. Number two, you can have multiple fluids traveling through the same pipe at the same time because the stuff is being teleported and doesn't actually have to make its way over there. Energy conduits are pretty darn straightforward. Let me set this to output to the side. And I got 3 energy cells here, so obviously you know what will happen when I set this thing to redstone signal high, by the way. You know what will happen if I give this switch a flick. These should now be filling up, and you can see that they are indeed filling up just like we thought they would. The coolest thing about these, though, is with these energy conduits, you can set channels, signal colors, and you can set them to only extract or insert energy, and you can set them to only work with redstone. So if you have a machine that you can't turn off, you can always use a redstone signal to cut off the power to it, which is pretty cool. The last type of conduit to look at is the redstone conduit. I have a redstone lamp with an insulated redstone conduit traveling over to this thing, so you can see that if I flick this, the cell starts to fill up with power. It's being fed by that one. If I flick this off, the redstone signal, you can see the conduit light up when I flick it. See how it's all bright right now? Give it a flick and it turns off. So yeah, that's the insulated redstone conduit. To be honest, there's a regular redstone conduit. I can't figure out what to do with it. I mean, it doesn't connect to anything. Like I can put a lever here. Oh, hey, it's accepting the signal from the lever. That's cool. I'm not really sure what the purpose is of this stuff as opposed to the insulated one. Maybe you can't interact with it. I don't know. Let's take a look. It doesn't... See, this doesn't hook up to that. Like the insulated one, if I put it right here, it hooks up to it. Well, that's cool. It hooks up to the redstone conduit too. Maybe that's what it's for. I really don't know. I just used the insulated conduit, so I couldn't really tell you much about the other one. But I know what you're thinking. What does all of this mess over here, let me get bright out here, have to do with our harvester setup from before? Well, let's get back to that and I'll show you. Probably the coolest thing about these conduits is that they can all travel in the same block space. What the heck does that mean? Well, as you can see, we have this the energy conduit. Well, I can also put a redstone conduit in the same block space as the energy conduit. So you can see I now have two pipes traveling in the same block. But it gets even better. I could also put a fluid conduit in here if I needed to. So I now have three pipes all running in the same block. I could even put a item conduit in here. So now I have four pipes all running in the same block space. So what does that have to do with our harvester? Well, let's find out. So nothing new here. You can see I have the item conduit on here, the green channel arrow pulling this way, feeding into this chest. You know what would happen. The wheat and whatever would flow into that chest. All good. But then what about the, what's that stuff called? The sludge. So what if I did this? And I ran this thing like so. So now I can have the sludge going out of there into this tank. Also in the same block space. But what about my redstone signal that I used to turn the thing on and off? Well, we can run that in the same block space too. I'm stuck on something here. So, I can hit my redstone switch over here and turn the thing on and off remotely like that. As you know, of course, the energy conduits could also go into the same block space. So, all on one side of the block. I hope this doesn't start running right now. I don't think it will because I have the redstone switch turned on. So there you go. All coming out of one side of the block. Just like that. Isn't that pretty darn cool? So I no longer have to have a pipe on this side, pipe on that side, pipe underneath, pipe on the other side. I can just have all of it going into one side of the block. The fluid comes out and goes into the tank. Let's turn this thing on and watch it work for a second. Come on, thing, work. It takes a while before it starts because it has to, like, the little idle timer has to run down on the harvester. I probably should have gone with the machine that instantly turns on instead of the one like the harvester. There it goes. So, just like we expected, the sludge got pulled into the tank, the wheat and the seeds got put in there, and the redstone signal over here, and then the energy from over there. Nothing that we weren't expecting. But it gets even better. If you're a classy dude like Poozerfruit or something, or Caps, or one of those guys who likes their base to look real neat, you don't want this clumsy thing of pipes laying around, right? I mean, this isn't a good look. So, what can we do to fix that? Well, let's say that we wanted to build our base out of some stone bricks. So here's my wheat field from the other side. I put a nice stone brick wall around it, but it looks kind of dumb, right? I mean, you can see all these pipes back here. It does not look that good at all, right? Let's fix that. Back here, I went ahead and got us a painting machine. What do we do with the painting machine? Well, I'm glad you asked. I think this is how you do it. No, this is how you do it. And let's put a stone brick in there, and as you can see, it consumes one of these conduit facades, which, by the way, are very easy to make. Just some of that conduit binder from earlier to make one conduit facade, and it paints them. It doesn't ever consume the stone bricks. It'll just use that template to paint over the facade, and now I wind up with these conduit facades that are painted with stone bricks. So let's go ahead and place them and see what they look like. We just right-click onto the conduits, and look at that. You can't even tell that they're there. We can hide all of our junk behind this. You can even place them where there aren't conduits, apparently. So, yeah, I could go like this and put them right here. They're still functioning just like they would be. There's no difference in their functionality and like what they can do. The only difference is that you now can't see them. They are completely hidden. So let's take a look from this side again. It looks just like we have a wall made of stone bricks. You can't see them over here, but I bet you if I flick this switch, eventually this thing will start. There it goes. Just like we thought it would, it went ahead and chopped up a bunch of that wheat and did everything and sent everything through the conduits and did not consume our, I mean, we still did its thing even with the conduit, with the conduits covered up like that. So, not only can you do stone bricks, but you can do anything that you want. If for some reason you want them to look like cobblestone, you can do that. If you want them to look like vanilla bricks, you can do that too. It doesn't matter what you're interested in. I think it can even do all kinds of, let's test out some of the crazy chisel bricks here. Let's get something crazy from chisel. Let's get some grimstone. Let's get some grimstone bricks. Can it do grimstone? Oh, it can do grimstone. So I could, you know, if you built your base out of grimstone, you could use this stuff right there and cover up the conduits with these fancy grimstone bricks. Apparently, it even lets you do it. Just, no, it doesn't. Why is it letting me do that, I wonder? That's weird. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Anyways, you get the idea. You can use these bricks in place here. That's cool. Look at it. I like it. Okay. Does it give me back the other ones? I don't know if it does. But I know what you're thinking. How on earth am I going to do my business when I can't even see what my conduits are all about? Make it light out. That's true until I have a conduit in my hand. When I'm holding a conduit, I can see inside of them. Look, you can see where everything's going. The energy conduits, suddenly I can see where they're going. I can interact with them if I need to. I can right-click on them and switch. By the way, when you have multiple things on a block face, you can change tabs between them. Like this is the item one, this is the fluid one, this is the redstone one, and this is the energy one. So I can interact with all those right through this. Not only if I have that on, but if I have my Yetta Wrench on, same thing. So I could pick this up with my Yetta Wrench or place another one in its place without actually picking up the conduit. Now, how do you go about picking up the conduits? That's a great question. I guess you just hit them. I don't know. I am in creative mode, so that might be why it broke so easily. I really don't know. Anyways, the point is that's why EnderIO conduits are so dang cool. Because you can do everything all hidden from sight inside these conduit facades, and you can have all of your conduits all going into one block face. And don't forget, in addition to all that stuff, it does have the ME conduits too. So you can use those two, all of them inside the same block space. It's just the way to go, if you ask me. Especially for a machine like the Harvester, which requires 4 different things. You have liquid and items coming out, you have power and sometimes redstone coming in. So obviously, in the case of a Harvester, these conduits are the way to go. Plus with a whole lot of other machines. So that's basically all I wanted to say about EnderIO conduits. I hope you guys enjoyed this little lesson. I hope it was clear and informative, and I hope it was fun. Thank you so much for watching. This is Kyrie091 wishing you a wonderful day. Can you dump creosote in the world? No, I guess you can't. You should be able to.